Hello, welcome to my Ghostbusters Afterlife review. I am back, just watched it. Fantastic film, really, really good. So what we'll be doing today is discussing non-spoilers. And then if you don't know about my reviews, you've not been here before, you'll get a fair warning and then we'll talk spoilers. Before we do, ladies and gents, this video is sponsored by moi. And this is my ugly alien Christmas sweater. I know it's not that ugly. In fact, it's pretty damn cool. This is a limited edition all over print design that I will be selling this year and this year alone. And then this design will never return. You can find it linked down below in the description box. And if you order now, you should be able to get it actually before Christmas and be able to wear it around in December. So again, support me and what I'm doing here and grab yourself a one-off special edition design because this was designed for me by my graphic designer. So please do check it out. You don't have to, but it's there if you want it, and it's linked down below in the description box. So, let's talk Ghostbusters Afterlife. This is a film which could have gone one of two ways, I think. Could have been incredibly bad or incredibly good, and it fell on the latter. It was a really good film. I had a really good time with this, and there is a lot here for new fans and old fans, and they do a great blend. They hang a lantern on the fact that no one, that there's people that potentially aren't, familiar with the franchise. So new kids, literally new audiences that will be watching it are represented in the film by the young'uns, and it works very, very well. There's a lot of friendly old faces, sort of, and a lot of evil old faces. Lots return, lots happening. You've seen the trailers. Again, as non-spoiler as possible, that's kind of all I can sort of go into, but it's done in a very smart way. It's earnest, it's tongue-in-cheek, it knows exactly what it is, and it wears it with the most sincerest of pride. It's very, very well made. There are genuine laugh out loud moments, smiles galore, it's warm, it's compassionate, and it's very well shot. It's very well shot. And there is even such a great blend of practical and CG. So much so, there's a part in the trailer which is expanded upon, obviously, in the film, where you go from practical effects to CG. And what they've done with the CG is they've dropped the frame rates to make it look like practical. And I was blown away. I was sat there in the theatre and I was like, that's great. That's great. And I thought to myself instantly, I was like, why did they do that? Because too much CG with a high frame rate looks too fluid. It doesn't look realistic. And at least to mimic the sort of practical effects which used to move around and things like that, yeah, I think they did a really good job. Anyway, I can't reveal too much because, of course, spoilers. But let's talk about the sort of base story. We've got Spengler's daughter and grandkids. They lose everything. They get evicted, so then they head to Spengler's house in the countryside, Somerville. He's just died, obviously. Harold Ramis, R.I.P. And they go there basically, and then start busting ghosts. That's kind of like as broad as I can get it. But there's a reason why Harold went there, and there's a reason why he died, sort of. And it's handled very, very well. It's handled very, very well. They did a really good job with this film. I knew, I have revealed some of these things that happened anyway in this film prior to it coming out with spoiler warnings and things. So I didn't know what was going to happen. But even then I was like, oh, are they going to handle it with such... There's basically stuff that happens at the end, which you can sort of guess what's going to happen. Are they going to handle it with respect? They did it very, very well. This whole movie's done with great respect. So, great film. Love the story. There's a lot of member berries, right? But, again, if you've seen the trailer and you're a Ghostbusters fan, you know there is a returning Sumerian god. But it's done in a way that makes sense. This whole story makes sense. So, I'm not a fan of member berries on a whole. I think member berries suck. But this was... If you're going to do it, this is the way to do it. This is the way to do it. These are good member berries. These are the good way of doing it. You have a story that wraps it with the old one, that continues the old story, that progresses it forward, that then includes new people. Ah, it's so good. So let's talk about the actors. Finn Wolfhard is Finn Wolfhard. I wish he'd get better roles. He's basically playing similar characters to what he plays in Stranger Things. But he was fine, serviceable, fine. McKenna Grace plays the young girl over here. She was good, you know. Believable, nice, good. Like, likeable, actually. And this is someone who we've watched unfold in a few roles now. She's stepping into her own. She's not a bad little actor. So, well done. We've got Carrie Coon. She was pretty decent. I thought she was in it. I thought she was pretty decent. We also had Logan Kim. You can see him just over there. He plays like a comic relief podcaster. Funny. I mean, he's comic relief, but still funny. And then we had Celeste O'Connor. Played Lucky. Barely in it. Not really anyone to sort of go into. And then, of course, Paul Rudd, who was actually pretty decent in this. Likeable. Really likeable. Yeah, sure, does the sort of, ruddy one-liners and things, but he was good. Good. So, I tell you, the sound design was stellar in this, actually. That's one of the things which really stood out. The sound design was great. I really like the sound design. So, kudos to whoever was on the sound design. Cinematography was really good, like I was saying before. They did a bang-up job with this. Good rule of thirds. Case in point, in a barn. Ecto-1 is framed up to 2/3 of the frame. Door opens. Finn Wolfhard is framed and then crosses over as we sort of move over. Good rule of thirds. Very nice. All in all, very, very good film. Would recommend. This film is going to do gangbusters. It's going to absolutely smash it. And it deserves it as well. You can watch a film and you go, yeah, this is good. This is gonna do really well. Hopefully, anyway. I think it deserves to do really well. I think I can't wait for everyone who was butthurt about 2016 to hate watch this. I mean, the people that love Ghostbusters 2016 and then hate watch this and go, shut up. No one wants your opinion. Your opinion's wrong. Shut up. It's a good film. Go watch it. Now, spoiler warning. Let's talk full spoilers. Let's get into it. Let's get into it, shall we? Really like this film. It is the return of Gozer the Gozerian. But it makes a lot of sense. So this film is paying respects to Harold Ramis. Obviously, rest in peace, he's dead. And it sets him up as this sort of character that has done the Ghostbusters dirty. He took off in the middle of the night. He took everything from them, and he took Ecto-1 and he just left to some, a hick town, Somerville, in the middle of nowhere. And so obviously it's framed as him, leaving his family, leaving everyone. But it turns it all around when he literally sacrificed everything so he could save the world. What a dude. What a dude, obviously. And that's the thing, he predicted that Gozer would return. And it was in Somerville. This big temple to Gozer. And he predicted it. There's dates, there's times, there's dates that Gozer would return. And it's basically continuing New York, right? Continuing the initial Gozer. And I think that's a really smart way of doing it. I think it's a genuinely very smart way of doing it. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's a god. Of course it's going to keep coming back, But it was handled with the utmost of respects. The only and everyone coming back was good. Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson. Great. Like, everyone coming back was fantastic. But what I didn't like was there was no bloody Slimer. That pissed me off. They just replaced him with Muncher for no reason. I would have liked Slimer to come back at the end. That would have been good. Slimer, no Slimer. Don't understand why. Give us bloody Slimer. So the way, I mean, look, Harold Ramis is CGI'd at the end, and I know that they consulted the family and they were very involved, and I think that's very respectful. And they even say, for Harold at the end, and I think that's great. I think they did it really, really well, and it's not something to be annoyed about because the family approved it. The family were fully in contact. They approved it all. They didn't have him speak or anything like that. Excuse me. They didn't have him speak. They just sort of cried, and it was a farewell. And then he buggered off to the afterlife after, obviously, they saved the day. The individual who played Gozer was really good, actually. I'm trying to find whether they're in here. I don't think they are. They might be. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Paulina or Alexis. I don't know. There's some uncredited people basically, because obviously they may be looking to keep it on the low on IMDb. But I think they did really well with Goza's return. The blend of practical effects and CG was stellar, like I'd already said. Honestly, there's not much else to go into. It was just a really good film. It made sense why the member berries are there. I had a really good time with this film. I think you guys will really like it. So the blend of CG to practical is the practical effects Zool in Walmart. And as he runs out, he goes to CG. And then there's a run down the high street. And when he's running, they drop the frames of the CG. What looks to be dropping frames anyway. And that makes it look a bit more, less fluid. It's a bit more real, actually. I had a honestly, great time with this film. It's got 7.7 out of 10 on IMDb. Deserves that. This'll be really, this will be a big film. And it deserves it. This is how you do it. Paul Feig, 2016's? No. This is how you do it. You pay respects, and you introduce new people, and it makes sense. This is how you do a Ghostbusters film. And I can see more, Sigourney Weaver popped up at the end. That was great. I can just see this. I can see them continuing this, and I can see me enjoying it. So let me know what you guys thought of this down below in the comments. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Let me know. Thanks so much. Take care.